So hello all and welcome. And in this video, I would like to discuss the modern day phenomenon of women waking up to the R pill a little too late. Now, oftentimes this doesn't even happen. And we know this, right? Oftentimes women will just double and triple down thanks to the sunken cost fallacy. They feel like they've invested too much into their lifestyle, their ideology, to the point where it's become a part of their being, a part of their personality, a part of who they are. They become so attached to their worldview and their ideology and their lifestyle and the decisions that they've made. They can't stand to let it go. They can't admit to themselves they made a mistake. The reason that the saying exists that accountability is like kryptonite for a woman is because it is. They cannot handle the ramifications of the life choices that they've made being directly related to the current outcomes they are having to endure. They can't handle the consequentialism of their actions. It's got to be somebody else's fault. It's got to be men's fault. It's got to be society's fault. It's everybody else's fault. Mommy's fault. Daddy's fault. It's not my fault. I did everything I was told to do. I did everything right. I went out. I got a career. I focused on my education. I made a lot of money. And then when I hit 35, I tried to find a husband. And for some reason, I couldn't find anybody. What's wrong? What's wrong? You chose to ignore how objective reality works. And one aspect of objective reality is, biological determinism, where by age 38, 90% of women's eggs are history, dust in the wind, as it were, and men know that. They know that on an intrinsic level. They're hardwired to know this. Biological determinism, baby. Nobody beats it. Nobody. But women aren't taught this. So while they think they made the correct decisions, and that leads them to blaming everybody else. So it's a very rare woman that actually is able to break free from what some call the matrix and think for themselves and realize the truth, meaning that they've been lied to, which is yet another mistake that they have to accept they made and take ownership of and accept that they screwed up there as well. So yet another thing they'd have to be accountable for if they admit that they got suckered in by a huge lie. So instead, many of them just double down, triple down, quadruple down, keep going on dating apps, keep trying to ride the carousel, keep trying to get those butterflies, that validation from men, keep going on Tinder, 35, 40, 45, 50. Now we got these 50 plus websites where women are essentially being just as picky as they were in their 20s. Nothing has changed because, well, it's like the point of no return, right? I'm going too far. I can't go back now, right? Wouldn't do any good to admit that I made a mistake anyway, so why bother changing? Yeah, this is most people's mindset, both men and women, although more so women because they're allergic to accountability. So this is why I so often say people don't change. It's the rare bird indeed that does. And this is one of those birds, it seems. And I came across this video and I wanted to talk about it because it's such a rare occurrence, actually. Such a rare occurrence that a woman wakes up and realizes once she's in her mid to late 30s and she's single, no kids, that the game is over. And she was lied to. So because it's such a rare event, all right, I wanted to take a look at this video. So let's jump right into it, shall we?
For whatever reason, this article really resonated with people.
So she wrote an article which is basically saying much of what she says in this video, I think. And I thought to myself, go find the article, cover the article and the video, or just cover the video. So I thought it would be better just to kill two birds with one stone.
But, when I wrote it, I was truly terrified. Like, I wrote a lot of that It gets me choked up now.
And she's getting emotional, and that's good. Too many women these days get emotional about the wrong things. You misgendered me. You misgendered him. You misgendered somebody. You looked at me in a grapey way. You looked at me in the gym. How dare you? Yeah, she squats down to get you to, look at her maximal gluteus maximus spreading, and you're not supposed to look. But they're not getting upset about the things they should be. Thankfully, this woman is. Too little, too late, though.
I wrote a lot of that article, like, truly scared. Like, I really did think, like, wow, you've missed your opportunity. Like, you are going to be alone. You're not going to have a family. Like,
yeah. What were you thinking? Didn't you take biology? I bet you went to university, right? Didn't you learn that your eggs are dead by 30? I mean, literally 90% are gone. I think it's like maybe 1 or 2% a year or something like that. So by the age of 40, like, you'd be lucky to get pregnant without some kind of aid, assistance. There might be the rare exceptional case where some 40-year-old broad gets pregnant naturally, but it's an exception. Far from the rule. I don't know how you don't learn this. I thought all you women these days are educated and, understand. Well, she's a woman, so more likely than not a lefty, liberal. They don't understand reality too well. They think it's all a social construct. Does that include your womb, sweetheart? Did you think, the clock that was ticking there was not objective? That your magical thinking could, turn that clock back? No. Sorry, honey.
I was really scared when I wrote that.
Was? Shouldn't you still be?
Like, that's exactly how I felt.
What changed? I hope nothing changed because you're 38 years old and you have no kids and you have no man. The odds of you getting either, let alone both, are extremely unlikely. So I do hope that this fear and concern is not past tense. I hope she's just using it to refer to the article that she wrote in the past and not about her feelings, i.e. them being gone in regards to not having kids, because she needs to be concerned if she wants kids, that is.
And when I got comments after that article was published.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of feminists went after her. Yeah. How dare you betray the sisterhood by complaining about your wonderful manless life with your great career? Yeah. How many women out there actually have great careers? They gave up a man and a family for, and they're bagging groceries at the local A&P.
Like I said, there was hundreds of guys emailing me, texting me, LinkedIn messaging me, commenting on the post, saying, you're selfish, you missed out.
Yeah, they're trying to wake you up. Yeah. And I bet you many of those guys would date you, but of course you're not interested in them, right? So she's not really red pilled. This is just what I meant. She's not R pilled totally. She's got maybe some awareness, but she's not one to change her preferences, right? She's not. She's only about halfway there. Not even halfway. Maybe quarter way. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. People don't change, man. People don't change. She sees the problems, but she's not willing to do, i.e. sacrifice, what would essentially get her what she claims to want, which is her ridiculously high standards. And come on, they got to be ridiculously high because I'm looking at her. I can't see all of her, but it looks like she's got a pretty thin waist. She's not, I don't know if she's thin or not. She's not skinny, but she doesn't look like a pig. She's cute. I'd say she's, better than average, maybe a 6. I mean, she's not a bad looking broad. Okay? I mean, I'd know more if I saw more of her body, but I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there that would get with you. But you see, that's the problem. Most women don't even reach this stage, by the way. They don't even, they know there's a problem, but they don't understand that it's I know this is hard to believe. They don't understand it's their age, right? They don't get it. They're in total complete denial. So she's coming out of denial, but she's not willing to make the hard choices change in a way that would give her the outcome she claims to want.
You could have had all that. You've picked your career. I mean, calling me horrible things.
Boo hoo. Toughen up. Act more like a man, right? That's what you're supposed to do, right? That's why you did all this career crap. You want to be more like a man. Well, welcome to what a man's life is like 24/7. We have expectations of us. There are traditional norms that we have to adhere to. Nobody told us we could just go liberate ourselves and do whatever we want. No, 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 no. We're responsible for maintaining and upholding the world on our shoulders. We are Atlas himself, personified. While you were encouraged to go off and do whatever the hell you wanted. You had no duties, you had no obligations, you had no responsibilities. Just flit around from man to man, chasing fifis and feeling good and hedonism and being a Satanist in all but name only, and just embracing the carnal pleasures of life, pleasure for its own sake. And hey, whatever happens, happens, right? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's a very mystical way to look at the world when the majority of you are atheists. Embracing this kind of mystical, magical mumbo-jumbo thinking. But anyway, yeah, they're telling you how it is. You weren't listening. Are you listening now? Doesn't sound like it.
I mean, it was awful. I sat in bed reading these comments, and I was like, oh my God, they're right. And they're not totally right.
Yeah, see? They're not totally right. No, they are right. They're totally right. Totally, completely, 100% right. Okay? Sorry, honey. They are right. They are totally 100% completely right. Sorry, didn't want to accept that. Clearly, she hasn't reached the acceptance stage yet. Not fully, anyway. She's out of denial, but is she fully accepted? No.
I don't think I'm a horrible, selfish person for not wanting to have children in my 20s.
No, but you are misguided. So here's something people don't understand about selfishness, and I've talked about this before. It's not what people think it is. Selfishness is not bad. Selfishness is, she's using the word incorrectly. She's not selfish, she's misguided. Selfishness is informed self-interest. Doing things, acting in a way that best serves your well-being. That's not having kids in your 20s and eschewing a husband and family for a career. No, no, no. Having the kids and the family and doing what was in your best self-interest, that would have been selfish, and that would have been good and right. No, you're misguided.
And not wanting, to have children during that marriage.
Why not? I don't get this. Ladies, if you can explain this to me. Why not put your career off until you have kids? I mean, considering that with all the magical fairy tale thinking in the world, you're not going to change biologically determined reality. Only evolution can do that, and that's going to take hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. Why wouldn't you adhere to the natural order of things and have kids when you're able to have kids? Who told you that you can have a career in your 20s? And then have kids in your 30s. Obviously you can't, because 90% of your eggs are dead by the age of 30. By 40, in most women, they're pretty much all gone. So, what the hell are you thinking? Biological reality is telling you one thing and you're ignoring it. And she still isn't awake and aware, and she still won't accept responsibility. I still don't think I made a mistake having a career in my 20s instead of a family and a husband. Well, you did. So you're not upheld. You're not upheld to accept it all the responsibility that is yours. You must accept. You must be aware that you were to blame for what you are to blame for, and you must accept those things. You can't. So good luck changing, honey.
But it did scare me, because a lot of what they were saying, they were like, you've been very selfish your whole life.
Misguided.
And that's what I heard over and over again. And that's actually the next thing that I wrote that I think will be coming out soon. Is I got all these horrible comments from men telling me I had missed my chance and that I
This is my first time watching this video, by the way, and I get it looks like the title is a little misleading because she's not really all that R-pilled. She's not really woken up all that much. A little more than most women will, I'll give her that. But she sounds more like one of these Amy Hortons or Jana Hawkins, like one of these clout goblins, one of these people chasing clout, chasing validation. She's talking about another article she's going to write. Maybe she can get some more attention and validation from that, and then that'll feed her the butterflies that she can no longer get from the Chads and the Tyrones. Okay, so yeah, not impressed by this woman.
had was a stupid feminist who was focused on myself, which I thought was interesting because, like I said, I don't consider myself a feminist at all.
And yet you are one. I don't care what you consider yourself. Oh, isn't that interesting? I don't consider myself a feminist, but all your actions say you are one. So who cares what you consider yourself? Clearly not a realist. Not too self-aware either. Another thing you need for real positive change that she ain't got.
But that it did get me thinking, and I did write an article that I think will come out soon about the downfall of living a selfish, me-focused life.
Misguided.
And it does. I mean, for me, it's definitely started.
It's not me focused. You are so misguided. You're using all the wrong words, all the wrong terms. If you were self-focused, you'd have done what was best for you. It's not best for you if you want to have a family. And by the way, if you're 20, most women have been fed their entire life that marriage is evil, it's a patriarchal institution, it's oppressive to women, it'll enslave you. Even the wedding ring itself is a sign of ownership. The band, it represents a shackle. Whoa. So you've been given all of this negative messaging about marriage and kids, and they're just like a ball and chain. They hold you down. So, really, women in their 20s, or just even 20, 21, they've been lied to. They've been misguided their entire lives. It's quite purposeful, by the way, because by the time, if they ever do wake up and start to realize some of the things they were told were lies, they're going to be this woman's age. And she's so well indoctrinated, she still can't shake it off. She still can't shake the programming off fully, even at 38. Oh, well, I don't think I made a mistake not having kids in my 20s.
Started to feel hollow and meaningless. And
yeah, because you've been chasing pleasure and fifis for their own sake. Pleasure is an incentive, a motivator to do something that will lead to meaning of some kind. If you don't have the goal, the place, the thing that you are striving for, that purpose, that goal, that end point that's going to create the meaning, the pleasure itself, which is supposed to get you there, is totally, completely, utterly meaningless. And it leaves you feeling empty with a void inside yourself, and you don't know how to fill it. Now people are telling you how to fill it, but you're ignoring most of their advice. You're still clinging to your mistakes. You still can't accept responsibility.
It's taken me to this point in my life to realize that that's not a life that's going to bring you happiness. I mean, and maybe it does for some people. I honestly have a hard time believing that.
It doesn't. They lie often, or oftentimes they don't know what happiness is. So they mistake the pleasure and the so-called the positive, temporary positive feelings that they get from it with happiness. And of course, they're continually chasing the dragon, chasing new experiences, chasing new pleasures. So they're always getting a fix, always imbibing of something that will stimulate that pleasure. They got to keep it going, baby. They got to keep the conveyor belt of crap and sex and drugs and booze and rock and roll, baby, and party and everything going to distract themselves from that gaping chasm, abysmal void within themselves, and feed it with pleasure. Of course, when you do that, that pit just swells it up and it never gets full, and that it doesn't really give you anything more than a need for ever more pleasure. Because just like any drug, chasing a hedonistic lifestyle, you build up a tolerance. Anyway, let's continue.
If I thought I would spend the rest of my life alone, if I didn't think that I would get married and have children, I would be devastated.
You're 38. What are you talking about? If I thought I wasn't going to get married and have kids, I'd be devastated. You're not going to get married and have kids. It's not going to happen. Unless you're secretly rich, unless you have some kind of massive wealth stashed away, it ain't gonna happen. Okay? Or unless you get with some guy that has money, and a guy with money, he's got options. He's not going to pick you. He's going to pick the 23-year-old who is smart enough to cash in her chips when she knows she's at her highest value. All right? When she's got the most value to that man, when she's at her most fertile. Why do I bring this up? The money thing? Because in vitro fertilization, baby. The only way that you're going to have kids is pumping about $100,000 or more into a doctor's office, a clinic that specializes in vitro fertilization. And even then, you might not have a kid. Because what eggs you do have, they're kind of crap. Did you freeze any? No. I didn't think she did. So, yeah. Good luck. So she's still in denial, actually. Okay, so I take back what I said at the beginning. I let the title rope-a-dope me. I let it draw me in, and, she's not our pill at all.
So, I don't know. It is such a me-focused culture right now. It really is.
Radical individualism. Look it up, folks.
And I just think a lot of us are missing out, and I certainly have felt like that the last year and a half. And
only a year and a half? So she's not an unattractive woman, and maybe she's put on weight recently. Face is a little cherubic. Again, I can't see the rest of her body. She might be a little chubby, but she's not bad. But maybe the attention has dropped off sharply in the last year and a half. That would explain a lot of these so-called realizations. Why didn't you have these realizations sooner, honey? Oh, right, because the attention just recently started dropping off. Because she don't look 38. It doesn't look like she's wearing makeup either. So she does look like she's maybe 30 or something. So she looks quite a bit younger. She's aged well, I'll give her that. So that is my guess, that the attention has dropped off from men. She's no longer getting the validation from said attention, the butterflies. So now that she's not getting those empty, superficial pleasures, i.e. attention from men, inspiring the fee-fees in her belly, she's starting to feel that gaping chasm, that void inside. Yeah, she's starting to question her decisions. Need to question more, honey.
And I thank God that I realized it in time.
No, what plan? I love it. You haven't realized anything in time. You're 38 years old. The party's over, sweetheart.
Because I don't want to wake up at, 60 by myself and go, well, I had a lot of fun.
You're about 10 years too late, honey. 10 or 15 years too late. I bet you did have a lot of fun, yeah. So right there, see more of her face. Nothing scrunched up, no expressions of any extreme degree. She's a moderately attractive woman. She doesn't look 38. So yeah, I bet you had a lot of fun.
It's like I want to wake up 60 next to the love of my life, raising a family, doing the things that are really important and the things that really matter.
At 60, raising a What do you think? You're in some sci-fi universe where 50-year-old women have kids? Lady, even if you met somebody today, you'd have to date them for 6 months to a year before marriage, okay? Then you'd have to date them for at least 6 months to a year. Any guy with half a brain would be vetting you. 6 months to a year, let's be generous, and then an engagement of a year. So you might get married by 40. And then have a kid at 41, 42? How many kids are you going to have? You use kids, plural. 90%, geez, 90% of your eggs were dead 8 years ago, honey. It's probably 95, 97% by now at 38. What kids do you think you're going to have? What family do you think you're going to be raising at 60? A family of cats, maybe.
Um, yeah, I don't think you're gonna be on your deathbed one day and look back and go, I wish I went to more parties.
This is the problem. Women don't live in reality. This has been said so often. They live life on this easy freaking mode. You hear about this a lot in the RPL community. It's absolutely positively true. They don't have to live in the real world until they get older, and even then, they refuse to do so. And they can keep riding the carousel, sure. Even in their 40s and their 50s, unfortunately. They'll be able to find guys their age that'll bag them. They'll be able to find younger guys that'll use them as a target practice, yo. That'll use them as practice, period. You know, these older cougars, they like to get with them young guys, and young guys like to get with them because they're easier to hit it and quit it with. They're easy to hit it with, certainly. And then they quit it because what 22-year-old guy wants to be with a 50-year-old broad? But there's some 50-year-old, 45-year-old cougars out there that look pretty good. So these broads will continue to be able to sleep with men. But the odds of them getting some kind of commitment, close to zero. And the odds of kids, zero. I don't know what this broad's thinking. Clearly, she doesn't have a very practical mind. She's not very pragmatic. She's not thinking.
Or spent more,
Not thinking in the right way, anyway.
time shopping. It's like, you're gonna look back and say,
Is this like a pick me? Like, is that what she's doing this? She's like a pick me, like a pick me. She's trying to, trumpet her virtue now. Of course, she hasn't had any actual realizations, so she's just saying what she thinks people want to hear. So she comes across as very disingenuous and, not really authentic. That's the sense I get. Not to say that she hasn't had a certain level of realization, but it's a very low level of awareness of her issues. And she's not really aware of the fact that she's not going to be able to get what she claims to want. She's too old. Waited too long, honey. Sorry.
oh my God, like this person I created was someone I loved, and that's gonna be the thing that's meaningful. So I feel unbelievably betrayed by feminism, and I don't want to.
Now there was it's a cut scene, and is this okay? She's wearing the same clothes, so I guess she maybe just took a break to get a snack or something. I don't know.
Put it on the movement because I believe you make your own choices. And everything I've done leading up to this point in my life has been my choice. And that's
Right, but you're not taking accountability for those choices, right? Yeah. But you've already laid off a lot of the blame, and you haven't copped to the most important choices, and you haven't acknowledged the consequences of those choices. You still think that you'll be able to find kids and a family. And you think at 60 years old you're going to be raising a family, lady. You are delusional. Now, I will give her a little leeway because she's not wrong. Feminism did lie to her. The world lied to her. Feminism is funded by the government. There's billions of dollars that go into it every year. Academia, media, the government, it all feeds this delusion, these lies to women because they want women to get into the workforce and be useful idiot tax chattel that pay off the interest on the debt for the funny money that the Federal Reserve prints out of thin air for us. So I will give her a little leeway for that, okay? She's not 100% to blame, for sure. But she does have a lot of blame that she needs to take accountability for.
on me. But when I was a little girl, it was like, and to be fair, I think this partly comes from coming from a divorced family and seeing my mom kind of handle a lot. I mean, I just
Yeah, but your mom had kids, right? You clearly didn't learn much of value from her. Look at the position you're in now. That's definitely your fault, honey.
saw a woman take care of a lot. But I was constantly fed this.
Well, if that's the case, why didn't you have kids? Plenty of single mothers out there. And by the way, they're subsidized heavily by the state. You'd get a lot of cash and prizes and goodies, both from the man and the state, if you had a kid as a single mom. Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that, huh? Not that I'm endorsing that. It's not a great idea, especially for the kid, but, something you could have done.
Idea that women can do everything. We don't really need men. Women can have the great career and have the kids that they like
That's a lie. You can't.
and change the tires and do this. I mean,
when was the last time a woman changed a tire? I've never seen that happen. I've seen plenty of them on the side of the road, sitting there calling AAA, and I've never stopped to help them, by the way. You're equal, right? Deal with it. I've never seen a woman change a tire in my entire life. What's she talking about? Yeah.
I grew up thinking, and men are great, but like I can do all the same things. Like I really I do feel in many ways betrayed by that line of thinking.
Many ways, in every way. The entire ideology of feminism is a lie. And let me tell you why. From first wave to fourth wave. First of all, the waves are BS. They don't exist. There's no such thing as a first wave or fourth wave. It's all feminism. This idea that feminism somehow evolved into what it is now, and that it originally was some good and noble cause that had more validity and rationality and reasonableness to it is just an outright lie. It's always been based on the presupposition, the fundamental premise that men have oppressed women for the entirety of human history, the entirety of human history. And so now we have to apply positive discrimination to make up for all the historical wrongdoings done to women. And it's a total complete lie. Total complete lie. It's in no way, shape, or form about equality because of that foundational principle and the supposed prescription to solve the issue of positive discrimination, which really just favors women over men, and that's highly unequal. Why would you create a system that gives cash prizes, benefits, privileges, treatment of a superior nature to one gender, while at the same time, all those cash and prizes and goodies are subsidized by the men? And that this is very unequal, it's very unfair, and these people, these cultural Marxists that they actually are supposed to be all about fairness. So there's nothing equal about that. It's a total complete lie. First wave feminism, third wave, fourth wave, it's all the same. All the same. You're just seeing more of its true colors as it has gained more and more power. The people that push this ideology, now they feel like they no longer have to hide their true beliefs and intentions anymore because they have so much power now. Don't have to hide it anymore. We control all the institutions.
And I got that from so many of the women in my life too. I mean, like I said, I do come from a very traditional family. So
no, you don't. Parents divorced, mother a feminist, all the women around you feminists. That's not traditional. So this woman is still self-gaslighting. She's been gaslit. She's still in a lot of denial. She's still not R-pilled. She realized there's a problem. She's able to describe the problem, but she can't come up with any real prescriptives. She can't come up with any solutions. She can't come up with any actual steps she needs to take to solve the problem. And she still delusionally thinks that she's going to find herself a man and have a family at 60. Whoa! Boy, oh boy, is she living in La La Land. But I'll give her this. She's a little more aware, like a smidge, than the vast majority of Western women. There's a smidge of R-pill there, like a little bit of R-pill dust if you broke the capsule open and you sprinkled about 5% of the red pill dust out. That's about how much R-pill she has ingested and has been absorbed into her system. So not much, but it's more than most.
I wouldn't say so much from family, but just a lot of like the older women in my life.
Your parents are divorced, sweetheart. Plenty of teaching by example there from your family. Okay?
I kind of want to go back to some of those teachers and coaches and say, what the hell did you mean by that? Because women can't do it all. We can't.
But that's your fault. You accepted all that nonsense. You just sucked it up uncritically because it sounded good to you. And it fed your ego, stroked your ego, right? And you liked that. Don't blame them. You sucked up all that nonsense. I mean, yeah, she was primed for it, but I think you're putting a little too much blame on these other people.
Such a lie. I mean,
which you accepted and lived until a year and a half ago by your own words. So there you go. So while this woman has been about as R-pilled as a modern woman can be, considering all of the MK Ultra programming that they have had to endure. It's not enough. And see, this is the problem, guys. This is why if you ever want to get married, if you ever want to have kids, you cannot do it with a Western woman. It's just not going to happen. She's deluded. She's deluded. The only kids you're going to have with a broad like this at this age is Down syndrome babies, okay? You do not want to get with this chick, all right? If she could even have kids to begin with. 60, raising a family. I'm pushing 60. I'll tell you what, kids at my age, I'm in good physical condition, but I don't know that I could keep up with little kids at that age. She wants to have kids at 30. As I said before, she'd be lucky if she met somebody now to pop out kids at 42, 43. And even if she was able to have one or two, they'd be subpar. Average IQ at best. Not going to be having any professors in that family. And you're going to be 60 years old with teenagers running around your house. Think about that. That's better than the situation you're in, but it's highly unlikely. Because as I said, unless she's got some gold bar stashed under her bed or some, secret bank account or trust fund that nobody else knows about, she's not going to be having any kids because it's going to cost a lot of money to have this woman bear a baby to term. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. I hope she sees this video. Maybe I'll find her name and send it to her because she's got to wake up and smell the coffee. You wasted your youth. You got it all backwards. You should have got married and had kids in your 20s because that's what biological determinism says you should have done. You cannot change the laws of the natural objective order. It's just that simple. Why couldn't you have your career? Why couldn't you get your education in your 30s? I don't know. I'm sure she's never thought about that because that would actually require her to take more responsibility than she wants to take on. But anyhow, let me know what you think. Are women actually able to be more R-pilled than this woman? Or is this woman about the best you're gonna get in terms of the R-pill? Are women, are Western women that is, actually able to become fully R-pilled more than the smidgen of red pill dust than that this woman actually ingested and absorbed? Are women able to absorb more of that red pill? Are they able to apply it to their lives, considering all the cash and prizes and incentives are in the exact opposite direction? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. And also feel free to check out my other alt-tech platforms, Rumble and Biot Shoot. I am the realist philosopher on both of those platforms. Here on YouTube, I am the bachelor philosopher. And on that note, I am out of here. I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.